Happy New Year and welcome. If this is your first time checking out Y and Z, what we do here is pretty simple. The generations coming together to talk about life. I happen to be the Y, aka millennial, and that young whippersnapper over there is the Z, the Gen Z. They're not the newest generation anymore because you got Gen Alpha, but they're the ones that like to cause a lot of ruckus. But what, what we do, we just come together, talk life. It's Y and Z the divide. So sometimes we'll figure out why they different, why they special, what beef they got with the world. And other times we're gonna find out where we got in life together. But simply we just gonna chat. So like, subscribe, welcome if this is your first time joining us. Glad to have you here. We excited for this new year. Because if you've been following us lately, we just kind of warming up. Now we can really get into the meat and some things. Before we do, my brother, how you doing? Life good? Life treating you well?
Man, I'm amazing. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Look, you already know what it is. We're here. It's a new year. Let's get raunchy with some of these topics. We here. We ready for it.
Yes, sir.
I'm great,
Yes.
brother. Go ahead and kick us off. What you got? What you got for this little, Gen X over here?
Like, share, subscribe, and here we go. First taste of the new year. Y'all are called the dupe generation. Now, we talked about this a little bit. Kind of goes two ways. We're going to stick to the product side of things. So there's an
Okay.
article on Business Insider that dropped in December, and it said Gen Z is the dupe generation. And so I'll just read you the first line to kind of give you the glimpse of what it is. One of the people they interviewed, we go shopping a lot at the mall, and then we'll find something really cute. Then we look at the price tag, and then we'll be like, oh, we should find a dupe for that. She told Business Insider. And so generally talked about how y'all are widely open with not getting the real thing. And I just remember back in my day, your ass let you be out here in some fugazi, some fu from some fu not, just one letter. Like what's up with y'all in this being proud of
Man, let me
fake
tell you
stuff?
what it is. Everything is high. And so we're in our mind like, and let's be honest, right? My generation is very, very, very focused on one moment per se, right? One good picture, one good video at a party.
Huh?
Bam, that's all we. And if it's good enough for a good picture, if it's good enough for a good video, why would I spend the money on the real thing if I just need it for temporary use at the moment? Now, if they got the money, they pay for the real thing. If they don't, you get the dupe, you still look like the real thing, and don't nobody really care no more. Now, me growing up in elementary school, I got the tail end of that good old embarrassment.
Okay, yeah,
And it
yeah,
would
yeah.
always be with polo. It'd
The horse,
always be
the
about
U.S.
how did
polo
your
versus the
man, how
polo.
did your man look on that horse? We was going around checking people logo. But nowadays, it's like it's good. And I'm all for it. I mean, it's saving money. You still look fairly well. You might only get about two or three wears out of it
Mhm,
if we're
mhm.
talking about clothes, but I'm down for it. I'm all for the Duke generation. I'm sorry.
Now, I can't fault you when it comes to like the money side of things, because like like one of the things the article really hankered on was the fact that yeah, a lot of this is economical, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I like me a good deal too. If I ain't gotta pay full price for something, I ain't gonna pay full price for something. But it's interesting because like I'm a semi sneakerhead. I enjoy some sneakers. I got I don't got no big collection like you be seeing out here on YouTube. I got me a good selection of shoes that I like to wear. Definitely didn't have them as a kid. Now that I'm a grown man with some money, that's why I got them. And it's a big conversation piece in that community, like UAs, unauthorized versus the real deal, and and I get it, but it's interesting because back in my day, you wasn't getting no dupes that could possibly pass the right thing. Like back in my day was the swap meet. That's where you would go to get you some replicas or some things that would look similar. But they
But I
definitely
think you made a good point. I think the quality of dupes have, we're just gonna use that word, right? The quality of dupes has increased to the point now where you
can't
really
tell.
can't tell the
Hmm,
difference as much.
sure
They
not.
learned, like when you like it's just what you get now, it could really, really pass for the original.
Yeah, I know. I got one pair that I bought as an experiment in the closet just to see for myself in hand. because I had a few back in the day. I used to buy from some Asians at the questionable shopping center sometimes. My man Juan would hook me up every now and then. I might have had a jersey or two that wasn't quite authentic. But I wasn't celebrating it. But I bought. I did an experiment one time, and I had a pair of J's, and I had the real thing. I was like, let me just see, because they be talking about this, and I found me a way to get some UA.
Yeah.
I put them up. I was like, well, damn.
And I'm gonna tell you what also I think I think it's also the rise of minimalistic things. Like I remember growing up, the idea of a croc was ugly. If you had on shoes that look like clog, because that's what basically the style of a croc
Yeah,
is like a clog,
plastic hog. Yep, yep.
they were not hidden. If you had shoes like clogs, just no. Like you were getting, I mean, it was horrible. It was horrible. You walk around with them nursing shoes on, but now look at how popular those are with all of its different styles. So I think it's more than just about like, of course, it's like we said, economically, its designs are better for dupes, but it's also just the overall rise in not wanting the top designer brand anymore, especially at
Speak on
a
that. Speak on that, because they brought that up in the article that they're like, this isn't necessarily a piece that y'all are like, oh, I got to get this top of the line. They're actually like, y'all are actually duping more the mid tier stuff. They're like, they're talking like Lululemon and a couple of the brands like
right,
y'all not
right.
necessarily out here, duping the Gucci and the Chanel and the Prada.
Nah,
It's more the
nah.
mid tier, you know, kind of
Because
stuff.
you can, and I think it was like you can get away with that. You can get away with it easier, bro. Like it's like okay, so I guess nowadays the kids now like, and like I said, I kind of got the tail end of it growing up,
Mhm.
but like the more I started going into high school, it kind of started fading away. But like elementary school, we were, real big into, shoes and clothes,
Mhm.
stuff like that were high priced. But as technology became more important to the child, it no longer became about what you had on. It
Interesting.
became about
Okay.
the type of phone you had, right?
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
like I think the allocation of funds transitioned from your fit to your phone.
And I can kind of see it because back in the day, you didn't have we didn't have that tech, so
Right, right,
it was either you were putting money into this if you had the money to put into it, or you were kind of finding ways not to. Versus nowadays, yeah, you there's no way you can get by without the tech. You kind of have to have the tech to survive. You have to
right,
have the
right.
MacBook, you have to have the phone, you have to have the whatever. Like you have to have some Bluetooth headphones because these things don't have wireless jacks anymore. That's it. That's something that hadn't crossed my mind. Like, but what make before we get off this, I gotta know, like, what makes it so okay? Like y'all are okay with screaming it from the high top. Like y'all are
I
like,
mean,
this a dupe. I'm proud. I ain't paid a real price. It ain't real. It's fake. It's fugazi. And I'm here. Whereas even if you was wearing it back in my day, was you
you
wasn't
trying to
letting
hide, bro.
like you were trying to hide it and just trying to get by, or it's just you little you wasn't like
I
out
mean,
there with it.
honestly, okay, let me just speak about me. What makes me comfortable with wearing a dupe and being like, oh yeah, it's a dupe, I don't care. I think it's almost like, all those are I ain't gonna say all black moms, but the stereotypical black mom
Hmm.
would be she would tell all of her friends if she saved this such a money on a good deal, or like, oh, you girl, you gotta go get that coupon book. I just saved $50. Like it's kind of one of those things, I guess. Kind of saying like, I'm I'm still buying good. I'm still, getting what I need, but I did it at a lower price. So on you.
Interesting you say that because like I didn't give you the article or anything like that, and
Right,
it's
right.
interesting how you have hit all the different beats where it's saying about your generation. Like you were just literally exemplifying it here on the podcast. Like I said, I can't be mad at y'all for it. Like I said, once again, I my wife calls me a little frugal, but I likes to be resourceful with my money. Like I said, if I don't got to pay full price, if I can find it, and especially when it comes to quality too, like sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, this $50 quality is just the same as this $10 quality. Why am I gonna spend 50? or so I
It,
ain't
it,
mad at y'all on here on this
it
one.
like throwing a little bit into that, right? So like, let's be honest. The things that your generation spent a lot of money on is almost the things that my generation wants to be cheap on, right? So like your generation spent, y'all will spend like a great amount of money for, clothes,
Mhm.
shoes, all that kind of stuff. Whereas, like we said, my generation, we going more into technology stuff, right? Making sure that we have all that, our P's and Q's on that. Like we would rather have a good phone with a good camera by the Dupe. The Dupe look like the original on the picture, right? Because we're all about like y'all was about living in the moment, right? You go to a party, your fit gotta be 100% authentic.
Yeah,
Going to
yeah.
the party, we go to a party now. As long as they look good enough for the pictures, you
As long as the picture, because the picture gonna live forever. So as long as it looked like I was in it at the
thank you, thank
oh,
you.
y'all,
That's all
y'all,
I be saying.
y'all special. I'll let you, like I said, I ain't too mad about this one. It really struck me. I was like, yo, damn, back in the day, like you get roasted to hell if you was
Yeah,
wearing the Fugazi, or like it was
I
known
remember
like
them days. I ain't gonna hold
they didn't look right. Like yours was gonna look a little different, and it was easy to see versus nowadays. Yeah, it's all the same. So yeah, okay, Dupe generation. What you what you bringing to the combo today?
you. Man, look, I gotta call y'all out right quick.
Uh-oh.
You millionites.
Yeah, that's a new one. That's a new one. I ain't
You
rich.
millionites. I want y'all to choose a side between gentle parenting and the parenting you grew up on. I need y'all to choose a side. Because
Ooh.
I think your generation is making it like so the lines are so blurred. It's like you'll do the gentle parenting methods, but don't try you, because then you'll turn into your mama.
Little triggered. Um,
I told you I was coming for you
you
today.
did, you did. I'm gonna go trigger with this one because I have me a 5 year old and
You do. And
he is
I
careful.
knew this would be a good one for you as a dad.
Um, I think we are trying to strike the balance. I think I think there is a balance, and so right now what you're seeing is the process of us really in the midst of trying to find that balance because it's like okay yeah we you back in the day was you grew up everybody kind of shared this similar way like the standards were different nowadays than what they are now when it comes to raising up children and how you should deal with them and so we're trying it's kind of the way of understanding that it's almost gotten too gentle because
I've seen that, yeah.
we see kind of with y'all a little bit because y'all were kind of the start. Y'all aren't full fledged the start, but there were some trends with y'all. But really, it's this Gen Alpha, and I ain't gonna lie, I be seeing some of these TikToks and some of these videos. Apparently, these kids is bad as hell. And
Right, man. Like I remember one night I went down the rabbit hole of teacher TikTok, and I was like, oh my God.
yeah, there's a lot to why they're bad. The parenting may be part of it. But it's hard out here. I'm not gonna lie because it's funny. I shared a video the other day or before the holidays and it was a father talking to his kid saying it's like I really understand your mental situation right now but I need you to shut the fuck up and put your shoes on and that's that is the proverbial weird place we're in because real like with like it's yes these kids are intelligent like I'll probably put these kids nowadays are more intelligent, more capable, more able than probably you or I. Like even though y'all kind of were born with tech here, these kids are really growing. Like the way
They're
that
immersed in it. I mean,
the
they
way my
can't get
son
away from it.
the way my son can operate a tablet. I want to be like nigga, who taught who
Right.
like he's literally in there right now with his tablet. He'll have a Netflix show in the small picture in the corner while he playing a game. I'm like, who taught you how to do that?
And this is my thing, bro. This is my thing. What happened to spelling list?
It's well, I mean, hey, I ain't gonna lie. As much as we didn't want to put him on that, there's all this educational stuff and yada yada yada.
And
But
it just makes it easier. Like we were growing, I mean, it was a little bit different for you than me, but it was still most of the fundamentals were still there. I think
Yeah.
what we're witnessing now, the fundamentals are changing. That's
It,
what's really
it's,
happening.
it's all changing. You got the fundamentals changing, and then it's also changing how we're trying to deal with you. And so it's like
I
it's as a parent myself, it's trying to understand and give my son the space. It's like, yes, you're a little person. You have these feelings, you have emotions, you have thoughts where, where and let him express that to an extent. 'Cause like back in our day, it was no
nah,
expression, stay out of grown folks'
it
business,
wasn't no,
don't speak
it was
unless you,
like
yeah, you know your
it's what I
place.
say and that's it.
Right. And so it's trying to find that balance of like, okay, let me hear you out sometimes. Let me hear your reasoning or how you're feeling, express it getting out. But then there's also sometimes like, yeah, I need to draw that line. I am your father. We may not have time for this right now. You don't may not understand why. Or like there's a it's always calculations. So yeah, sometimes it's okay, son, you're having a hard moment. We can take a minute, sit down, and there's other times, nigga, I need you to put your motherfucking shoes on because we got to get out this door and get your ass to school on time. And
And
so,
like, I'm gonna tell you what I think is a great blueprint for that. And this is what I deem to be this. I got to give it to your era because this is your era.
mhm,
This is the greatest spinoff in the history of television to me, and that's the Parkers. The Parkers had a very, very it's the greatest spinoff to me. Let me tell you something. Anytime the Parkers is better than Moesha, and Moesha was supposed to be the starter show,
it's good, but it's not the best.
spinoff. Okay,
Right.
no. I'm forgetting about the originals. The originals is 10 out of 10. The originals, okay.
Still
But
not the best.
what are you referring to as the best spinoff? Hold up, side conversation. Excuse us, everybody. I've started something right quick. What do you think? Just give me like top three spinoffs.
Different World is number one all day, every day. It's,
Okay, different world is okay. 10 out of 10, most
number,
definitely.
um, I'm a Trekkie, so Star Trek Deep Space Nine is a spin-off to an extent.
Right?
That's number two. Number three, there's so many, but you could Jeffersons. I gotta give it to the Jeffersons.
Uh,
That's a top tier spinoff right there. But that's an entirely different conversation. We'll get into let's get back to the original premise.
so like I think what we realized with Nikki and Kim, it was still mother daughter. They still had like Nikki still understood how to hear her daughter, but it was still like, okay, I'm still the mama too. And trying to, and even though they were older, it's still trying to translate that type of, parent child relationship still with them at a much younger age now. Because with technology being such a big influence now, they mature much faster than we ever did.
They do, but then also I like your example. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah, yeah.
But you mentioned it. The problem is they're older. This
Right.
would be slightly older with a more mentally sound individual. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, yeah, right,
But
right.
like my kid is 5. He sees the world in black and white. Like like gray to him doesn't exist. Like he doesn't understand the concept of gray areas yet. It's either
Wow.
way or the other way. So if you tell him two is always supposed to come after one, and then
That's what he thinks.
for whatever reason there may be a three or another one after the one, or we go into decimals and fraction. Like no, daddy, that's wrong. Two comes after one. So it's it's once again it's a weird balance. It's like, okay, there's certain areas or certain moments where we're living in some grays and you're not comprehending or you're not able to, and that's where we really need you to understand, like, I am your fight, do as I say, listen. And that you'll never be completely one way or the other way. Like we saw
Yeah.
what one way did. As much as people like to argue that it was too harsh, to whatever, there are some traumatic experiences, but some would say, as we will argue on this show, previous generations are flourishing better than newer ones. But because of that trauma and yada yada yada, we've completely shifted to this other side, and it has benefits. I understand and I see it. Like I said, I'm trying to find that balance here, but the problem is if he was a fully fledged individual who had full capability of his minds and understood more of the world, yeah, it'd be much easier. But I think part of that struggle is the fact that it's like, okay, yeah, you
Wow.
fine, like you're
That's
fine.
that's that's really good. Like, because I say this all the time. I'll tell people this all the time. I'll be like, look, it's so bad that when we're taught things, from adolescence on up, we're always taught things in black and white, not realizing that most of the world is gray.
Very much so. Very much so.
And it takes life alone, life would be easier to comprehend if we were brought up, if they taught us gray with the black and the white.
Folks can understand gray now. Like this as an example, like slavery and
Right, right,
history and all this kind of stuff that some people just don't want to have. Like, bro, it's black and white. It's this. No, motherfucker, there are a lot of shades of gray. Two, three, four things can exist at the same time. It's not just
right.
the other. And like, so it's one of the things where people still struggle with it as adults. And yeah, I'm just trying to raise a little man to be the best product in this world that just seems to be losing its goddamn mind and going straight to hell in a burning basket. And yes, it's not all hard handed at one time. It's not all, you know, easy handed at one. Like I've never really had to spank my child. I've never had to. I
Yeah.
haven't had to yet. Hopefully, I never have to because I as a friend as how I used to work with a mentor, and she told me I got that look. I can cut my eyes at him, and he understands. I give him that day, and you'll see that face change. So hopefully, I can keep that up until I got to go man muscle. He gets a little bigger, but yeah, it's a balance. So no, we will not choose one side or the other. We
I
understand
like that answer.
reality.
I can't argue with that answer.
So yeah, woo, yeah. So bam.
I
That's a
like
taste,
that answer.
that's
I
a
didn't even
man
hold you.
taste of what we do here on Y and Z. As you saw, he got to call me out about something that he sees likewise. And we're not talking about one. This isn't a sports podcast. This isn't a man podcast. This isn't a love podcast. It is a lifestyle
Everything.
podcast. We just like we can go into a lot of stuff. As you'll see, check out some of our older videos if you haven't yet. Like, share, subscribe. Please hit that. The second half of what we do, or like the last part of what we do, is we try to put each other on to some things. It's not just questioning, it's sharing with one another something that they should be into. And so, my recommendation for you this week, sir, is T-Pain,
Oh,
that on top of the
oh,
covers.
oh,
That he dropped the album earlier in 2023,
oh.
but over the holidays we got the treat to the recorded performance of this, and boy. So, have you seen it? I feel
Oh,
like
you know I have. And let me tell you, I'm so intrigued when the day that I found out that T-Pain is a better singer without the auto-tune. We kind of thought that me growing up, I was like, oh, he using the auto-tune because he can't sing. Oh, he using the auto-tune because he can't sing.
that era. That's
The,
what people did. So yeah, so
the day that I found out that T-Pain can sing, and I mean Mike B. Hot can sing. Oh, I've been slightly obsessed with his live performances. So any chance I have to see T-Pain live or video, I'm watching it because I'm studying it. I'm like, man, this is cold for real. So
it had one real live singing. Two, he was doing covers, so he was putting his spin on classic songs, which we've talked about before. Your generation
it
is
should do
should
start
do
your
more
career
of
out
and
that
are
way. It's
scared.
fine.
That's a deeper topic for another week because that's a deep one. Um, and then just the whole musicality, the entertainment, like it was. I was like, yo, this it right here. This the type of stuff we miss from the scene. Like more people really need to do some stuff like this, and especially with it coming from T-Pain, it's
Right.
like you said, it wasn't like back in the day, people quite like this man popped on the scene and did something in this lane and they questioned the talent. And then what was it? It was like 5, 6 years ago when we really
Yeah.
found out that he can sing. And it's like, dude, yeah, go like especially because that's one of my college. That's man, them T-Pain songs. My college,
What
blame
I'm
it,
saying,
third,
oh,
blame it, the third.
man, what?
That was a good time to be alive and actually be able to be in the
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. I was listening to the music, never experienced anything to go with it.
Yeah,
Just I'm
yeah,
singing, I'm with the bartender. I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Never been to a bar in my life.
yeah. I remember the first time I heard T Pain was right before spring break in my freshman year of college. It was around that time, and he dropped "I'm Sprung." I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do this. But yeah,
And
so
like
I'm
T-Pain
glad.
was he was like so strategic too though, because during that time period, if he would have just came out without the auto tune, he probably would have been in that same oversaturated space
Maybe,
and his
maybe
talent would have been overlooked. But it's almost like what he's been doing, like you said, in the past 5 to 6 years, he's almost out here reintroducing himself to a brand new, like he's gonna be one of those trans, like he's gonna go multi-generational artist.
he's going to be looked at, which is almost like if you would make asked anybody back in the day, like think of the top tier artists from this period. And like I said, while T Pain has hits, great artists, like yeah, we all enjoyed him. But to think that he may have this endearing legacy and is actually kind of elevating it now a little bit is wild and crazy. But I'm here for it. But yeah, if you
You
haven't
watch
gotten a chance,
wrestling.
check that out. Check out On
Yeah,
Top of
man.
the Covers. Yeah, solid. Just yeah, we need more of that.
It was
Uh,
like T-Pain back in the day. He was a solid United States champion. Like he was a great mid Carter. And now in his last days, you're like, oh, he's still on the roster? What?
and hitting and scoring buckets, dropping buckets in the way that you can nowadays. But what you got for me, Gen Z? What you got for me, brother? What you going?
Man, I got to put you on. So I don't know if you've ever really been a fan of America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
Oh man, what? Freaking love America's Got Talent. You need to, so I've always been a fan of it. Like I was a fan when Howie was still on there, Howard Stern, I'm sorry, Howard Stern. And you need to go watch this America's Got Talent fantasy draft or whatever. So with that basically judge, so it's and I love how they put the spin on it. And I was kind of like, why didn't they do this before? So that basically the judges, so America picked like, I think it's like 10 each. America picked 40 people
Mm-hmm.
that used to be on the show. And then the judges went and picked 10 people each to put on a team. So now the contestants are they fighting against one another to be the winner, but each team is also fighting against each other as well.
So kind of
So
like The Voice a little bit.
right. It's kind of like The Voice, but The Voice, but on a much bigger scale. So it's not just singing.
Because it's
And what
not new people. You got this previous. You're bringing back the All Stars kind of. So a cool concept.
right.
Okay.
Man, when I tell you, and I guess what I love about it the most, because I've watched the seasons, it's just great to see him come back and make new stuff. Like John Dorenbos, I think is how you pronounce his last name, used to play for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
He's on there. Like, right, doing magic.
I mean, I've definitely seen. I don't watch the show, but there have definitely been some. You get those clips that pop up because like I
Of
said, it's
course.
not just singing. You got people doing all kinds of wild. Like I really don't understand sometimes how they judge and compare because you like
It's so
what
that's
contestant
always
A is
been the
doing
thing.
is so crazy. Than like it's like I don't know how you would even compare the two to be like yeah that was better than this, but yeah.
Like you got the finale, it's a comedian, a singer, and an artist.
That don't make no sense. Like, yes, that's one of the reasons why I've never really like I gotta watch this because just like one, there's just too much stuff out, but it's just like oh, okay, like that, like because what's gonna happen is what happens on a lot of these things is I'm like oh, I'm gonna get attached to this person or want to be root for this person. It's gonna be make me mad the day they get eliminated over some BS. Like this is amazing talent and this wild crazy like yeah. Maybe I'll check out some clips, see some recent clips
Yeah,
from.
just check out some clips, man. I'm telling you, I love the America's Got Talents, man. They're fire to me. Like was watching, found out Preacher Lawson. Preacher Lawson is a comedian. I don't know if you've ever heard of, but his first name is Preacher.
You would enjoy the
He's
churchy kids you are.
freaking hilarious. Oh my God. It's a lot of people that I just, sit on watch that show. And it's great. And like you said, it's almost refreshing though, because you got Dance with the Stars, you got 15 different singing shows by themselves.
Man,
You
just
got Idol. But Idol, does Idol still?
no, idol is done. I think.
Yeah, so what you got? X Factor, you got The Voice.
I don't even know at this point. Because at this point, nobody is making impact. Like,
So that's a great point. I feel like out of all of these shows, I still can only barely tell you a handful of people that have won and just been super successful.
like who?
Fantasia.
Okay. Yeah, like yeah, the early days of these shows, like because you had like Fantasia, you had J Hud, and they
But
were
Jennifer didn't win.
neither did Fantasia, right? No,
No,
she
they
did.
were
She
in the
did. She
same
did. They
season.
were in the same season, and she did. But even some of the other ones, like Carrie, I think Carrie Underwood was on one of them seasons.
Oh, right, right. Okay,
Like,
Carrie Underwood was on. Yeah, she
like
did
you,
win.
you like the early ones, you had some notable people. But yeah, that's like
And
okay.
it's, I mean, and that's like that discussion we had about the industry, right? No one is like, so you win that just to get a contract with somebody. And it meant more back then,
Uh-huh.
especially if you actually had a talent. But nowadays, you literally out here competing to be on a show. Somebody out there ain't never been on a show before. They blowing up off of a TikTok song.
Yeah, yeah. More issues to get in with your like, oh, best believe we gonna get into some music discussions because y'all
I'm glad. I mean, some of them needed to be cut off. I'm just glad that we'll be known as a generation that did away with these shows.
it's gotten worse. What do you mean?
We're doing away with them,
It's
slowly killing them off one by one.
no, you're not. No. Actually, no. Y'all need to understand. It's only about to get worse. So no, because we just had the strike, right? A lot of
Oh
these
yeah.
shows, like even like back in my day, you had shows like American Gladiators,
Oh, such a
Cops,
good show.
Cops, and things like these are shows that came to be because of the strikes. So when the strikes happen, these are easy shows to green light, get talent for because you don't need to write. Like, so you're actually probably about to see another influx of some new style reality shows that just pop up simply because of the last strike that we had, and they need something to fill these airways. So, and let's be honest, like for y'all, it's all reality TV. Like, just think of HGTV, Netflix, like all these networks, it's all real people doing some stuff, whether it's a competition, cooking show, home rental, like whatever it may be.
Yeah.
That stuff is produced itself. So y'all ain't getting rid of nothing. Y'all are actually feeding in more to it.
It's not us. I promise you, it's not us.
Probably not. It's probably a lot of it's probably anyways. He's the Z, that's Xavier. I'm Jay, the X, no, the Y, the millennial. Jay Clark 787 on all social, real Xavier on all social. Like, share, subscribe. Hit us up. We're gonna have some fun. If you got a take, if you want to throw something into the fire and have us go at it, maybe you a millennial with a hot take or a Gen Z who want to come at a millennial. Bring the smoke. We are here to answer those questions, those hot takes, those damn your generation for this. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Let us know. Follow us. We on Tik, we got the Y and Z the divide on TikTok. We're gonna be posting clips there and whatnot. So yeah, thank you for being here once again. Happy New Year. We starting off. We're gonna get rolling, and we're gonna have some fun because
Most definitely.
I'm gonna call him out, and as you see, he gonna call me out, and we gonna this once again just a little tease. We just getting into it. You never know where these things may go. But yeah, that's it for now. Be blessed, brother. Be young. Enjoy the youth.
Hey, my brother, let that gray keep growing in.
Hey! I like the distinguished look. It's coming. It's coming. And so does the misses, and that's all that matters. But until next time, peace.
Peace, y'all.